Hi everyone, I miss you guys. I hope you're all doing well. I hope your assignments have been easy for you. I'm going to do another math lesson today. I really want you to have your math book with you while you're watching the video so you can look at and see what I'm doing. So if you don't have your math book, go get it, come back. This math lesson is all review today. Okay, so this lesson is on page 791 and 792. And it's another lesson about area. And we did that yesterday and the day before. We've been doing lots of areas with counting unit squares. And yesterday we learned about the formula for area. Area equals length times width. And all you do is multiply the numbers and label it in square units. Okay, so it's the same thing today. We're still doing area. We're still going to be multiplying our numbers, but I want you to think back to when we were doing multiplication and you guys learned how to do the distributive property. Remember that? It was kind of tough at first, but then everybody seemed to catch on. And this is just another way to find area is with using the distributive property. And I think it's a great review so we don't forget how to use the distributive property, because I explained to you before that you're going to be using this in the future in your math classes, okay? So let me remind you first of what the distributive property is. I wrote this multiplication problem on the board, 6 times 4. Okay, and let's just say, remember, this is just another way to find out what 6 times 4 without it. If you didn't have it memorized, this is a way to work it out. So how do we use the distributive property? Remember that word decompose? Decompose means that you're going to take apart a number. Okay, so excuse me, with the distributive property, I'm going to use parentheses and rewrite one of my factors that is in my multiplication problem. I'm going to keep the 6, all right? And I am going to decompose the 4. So I'm going to take apart the 4, or what that really means, if you remember, is that we are going to find two numbers that we can add together to get 4. So that's pretty simple. 2 plus 2 is 4. So that's going to be my other, this is going to be my other number here. So we're going to say 6 times 2 is 12 plus 6 times 2 is 12, and if you add these together, it's going to give me 24. So that's the answer to 6 times 4 using the distributive property. Okay, so we keep one number the same. We just bring it down in our parentheses. We decompose the 4 or take it apart. We find two numbers that we can add together that are going to equal 4. Plug it into our parentheses. Multiply on the left, multiply on the right, add the two numbers together, and we get 24. Now, I know you're going to say, Mrs. Poland, that is so much work, and we already know what 6 times 4 is. I completely understand that, but this is a great review for the distributive property while using area. So, here on page 792, you have a large rectangle that says 12 units by 7 units. Our length is 12, our width is 7. I didn't draw in the unit squares, but I'm just going to find the area of a rectangle by using the distributive property. So remember, in math, we're going to keep track of our steps and write every single thing that we do down as we go. So what is my problem here? Area equals length times width. So area equals 12 times 7. And now I'm going to decompose and use the distributive property to find out what 12 times 7 is. In this case, I'm going to say it's going to be best to take apart or decompose the largest number. So I'm going to write down my parentheses. Okay, I'm going to keep my 7 the same. I'm just rewriting it. and I'm going to put my multiplication symbols in there, and I am going to take apart, and I know that 10 plus 2 is 12, so I can use 10 and 2. You know other numbers will work, but 10 times 7 is 70, plus 2 times 7 is 14. If I add 70 plus 14, I'm going to get 84. I hope you guys can see this. And so my area is going to be 84 square. I can put my abbreviation SQ for square, and then units. Okay, so that's what this whole lesson is about. It's about using the distributive property to find the area of a rectangle or a square. All right, so once again, 12 times 7, I'm going to keep my 7 the same, rewrite it in my parentheses, break up the 12, decompose it. I can say, 10 plus 2 equals 12, so I can put my 10 on the left, my 2 on the right, and I'm just going to multiply what I have in parentheses. 10 times 7 is 70, 2 times 7 is 14. I add both the numbers together, and I get 84. All right, that is all we're doing. You guys have done this before. You guys know how to do it. It's going to be easy peasy. All right, so I'm going to ask you to do all of the problems on page 793 and 794. Now, I want you to notice about these word problems, they're asking you to find the area using the distributive property for each one. So you can show your work on a separate sheet of paper if you needed to. But make sure you do that. Make sure that you label your area in square units. I see feet in number 8, feet in number 7. So you're going to have square feet. And number 10 is inches. So you'll have square inches. You could do the homework page if you're really bored. You want something else to do for extra practice. But pretty much that's all it is. I love seeing your comments below the YouTube video. That's pretty much it for now. Don't forget to read, practice your math facts. I wanted to let you know that I'm praying for you guys, and you keep me in your prayers as well. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.